Hello everyone. In this video we're going to do my favorite identity derivation. The translation problem is at the top. It says, the first premise says that everybody loves my baby. We're translating that for all x loves my baby. The second premise says my baby loves nobody but me. And we're translating that for all x, if my baby loves x, then x is me. The conclusion, the startling conclusion here is that I am my baby. I'm identical with my baby. So M equals B. I have the derivation set up there. We're to derive the identity statement, M equals B, from our two primary assumptions. So let's go ahead and get started. The way we're going to do this is by beginning with two applications of universal elimination. And actually, you look at the position of these two terms following the two-place predicate L. We see in the first premise, the first primary assumption, LXB. The second one is LBX. And then we look at the consequent x equals M on line 2. Everywhere where we have that x, it would be really great to have a B, right? So it would be great to have a B equals M, because we're after something that we know to be equivalent to it. And then if we have LBB, the two B's following the two-place predicate L from the first two premises, then we would be able to use conditional elimination. So let's go ahead and instantiate both universals to the name B. So LBB is going to be from line 1 universal elimination, and then LBB horseshoe B equals M from line 2 universal elimination. That sets us up to do conditional elimination and get B equals M from lines 3 and 4. Conditional elimination. So we have B equals M, and what we're after is M equals B. We do not have a rule like commutation that says you can just switch these two names places. We don't have that rule, so we're just going to have to work this out a little bit more slowly. This is the way the book would have you work it out. Line 6 would be an application of identity introduction, x equals x. That's just identity introduction. That's how you cite identity introduction. We don't use line numbers. It takes no line numbers as input. And then what we're going to do with line 6 is instantiate it. And we can instantiate it to any name. Obviously, we could change it. We could instantiate to B or M. Just for interest, I'm going to instantiate to M. So line 6, universal elimination. What we have on line 5 is an identity justifying substitution. That's a justifier. And then what we have on line 7 is a context for substitution. There's the context. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're actually going to take, let me put it this way. Let me show it this way. We're going to take this M out of line 7, and we're going to replace it with a B. And we're going to do that because line 5 says that B is identical with M. So we change that to B, and we leave the other M in place. Okay, that's going to give us line 8 from 5 and 7 identity elimination. So we just proved that if everybody loves my baby and my baby loves nobody but me, then I must be the same person as my baby. And that is a valid conclusion. There's no way out of it. And it's a little bit surprising, wouldn't you say? That's one way of working this proof. We're actually going to work it a different way. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. But just to be clear, this way that I showed you does use the rule identity introduction. And it follows basically the way the book shows you to work proofs like this. There we are. Now, we're going to do this same proof slightly differently. So the first 3 rule applications are going to be the very same. Now let's look at this identity. We know that identities justify substitutions. So this identity statement B is identical with M will justify substituting M for B or B for M. In what? Well, in a context for substitution. What is a context for substitution? It's any sentence that has the name B in it or the name M in it. Okay, so if a sentence has the name B in it, we could substitute M. If a sentence has M, we could substitute B. So to be a context for substitution is simply, a sentence simply has to have one of those names in it. Well, guess what? Line 5 has those names in it. So not only is line 5 a justifier, it is also a context for substitution. Okay, so on line 6, what we can do is take one of these names out of line 5 and substitute the other name by appealing to line 5 as the justifier. So once again, we could get M equals M from line 5 or B equals B. I'm going to write down B equals B on line 6, and that's from line 5 and line 5, identity elimination. Remember, identity elimination takes 2 line numbers as input. One of those has to be the identity justifying substitution. The other one has to be the context for substitution. In this case, line 5 does both, so we're going to cite line 5 both times. Now, in this version of the proof, what I'm going to do is actually take this B out of line 6 and put M in for it. In this case, line 6 is a context for substitution, and line 5 is an identity justifying substitution. It says that I can take a B out of a sentence and put an M in for it, and that's what I'm going to do, okay? So that's what's happened there. And then, of course, we keep the other B right where it is. So this becomes line 7, and it comes from lines 5 and 6, identity elimination. So we just work the proof a little bit differently. It's actually one step shorter to do it this way. We do not appeal to the rule identity introduction at all.
Yes, everybody love my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me.